Welcome to New York Comic Con 2019 here with SYFY WIRE. I'm Andre. In there we have Katie Wilson as well. Hello. And between us, we have two wonderful, wonderful people, wonderful, wonderful hobbits.
It's a hobbit sandwich.
Sean, Aston, and Billy Boyd. For the Lord of the Rings. Thank you both for being here. We're so excited to have you here. You know what's interesting is we see like the way that Comic-Con and the geek space is going on right now, but when Lord of the Rings came out, like that was a big thing because it was this big production. You filmed it all simultaneously. It came out year after year after year. Was that a concern or a worry, or were you like, this is amazing, we're doing something new here? Like, what was the feeling when you were doing this back then versus today?
After the first one came out, and we didn't do New York Comic Con, I'm like, what's it gonna take? Put out the second Lord of the Rings movie, then the third Lord of the Rings movie, and finally they're like, we'll put you at a table, come on. It was amazing, it was amazing. I mean, what a time in American and world history, 2001. Yeah. You know, we came out December 2001. It was, yeah, New York was an important part of the introduction of the movies to the world. It was right after 9/11. And, you know, the world was hunkered down and mourning. And then here comes this fantasy tale that takes on the nature of good and evil and gives people a place to transport their fantasies, their fears. And so was it the Ziegfeld? Is that where we premiered it? I think it was the Ziegfeld.
I have no idea.
Yeah, it was the Ziegfeld. Anyway, this is my friend Billy Boyd. He played Pippin.
Hello.
Guys, I just want to get the most important question out of the way right now, and then we never have to talk about it ever again. How do you prefer your potatoes, boiled, mashed, or stuck in a stew?
Yes.
Dang it.
I am not partial to how my potatoes are prepared. Boil them. If I saw that mashup thing, that meme, whatever it was, boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew, stick them in a stew, boil them, mash them, stick them in a stew, boil them, mash them, stick them in a... Yeah. And I was like, oh no.
Hey.
That's... Sean Aston passed away at 147 years old, and to honor him today, boil him, you know what I mean?
You know a movie, as much as all the accolades you get, that's when you know you've made it, when you get the meme.
Yeah.
So, yeah. But obviously, yes, it was interesting to see this fantasy. And what's interesting, too, is that not only were you guys bringing it as the characters, but just where you shot in New Zealand, the location really helped to make this fantasy.
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
How many people out there have been to New Zealand? That's not an insubstantial number of people.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, the tourism industry in New Zealand went up like 5% after the Lord of the Rings films. They had...
That doesn't sound like much. Say it went up 45%. No one's going to check.
Well,
it went up 75, 125%.
It's true.
I wonder about the sheep in New Zealand. They're like, well, there's 11 million sheep. And you think, well, who counted them? You know? With Billy. Yeah, he mess up, and then he have to go back to the beginning again. 4,942, 4,001, 2.
I feel like you both get asked probably so much your most memorable moments on set or something that really stuck out to you guys. But are there any moments that you don't remember and maybe you'll watch the films back and go, oh, I did that?
What kind of question? If you don't remember it, you don't remember it. Is there anything you don't remember?
Hundreds of things I don't remember.
Not one. I remember everything perfectly.
Until you watch it back.
Oh, until we see it back.
Yeah,
that's a lot of things. Actually, what's even worse than that is you see something and you don't remember having done it. That's like the backside of that coin. So yeah, and I always try and picture what was going on just off camera. Was my wife there with my daughter? You know, where was our, like, where did we eat? Hobbits are all about eating. So as we watch it back, I think, you know, Elijah and I would very often get teriyaki chicken takeout. You want to know stuff. I'm telling you stuff. I do not believe that that's on the 47-hour extended version DVD.
I didn't see that special feature, yeah.
I remember we were outside Moria doing the scene, And is it more? No, Isengard. And I pick
They're
up
taking the Hobbits to Isengard.
another meme. And I pick up the Palantir. And whenever I look at that scene now, my sister was there visiting set. And it was just done in like a big swimming pool, a huge one. And they had all these horses in it. And I was on my knees to look small like a hobbit. And I kept having to go in and get this Palantir. And I stopped and went to see my sister to get a cup of tea. And she says, you know all those horses? They're all peeing and pooing in that water. And you're just sticking your hand in like this. So whenever I see that scene, I always think of that.
You just reminded me of another one. So a lot of times over the course of the 2 years, things would break. There was a flood down in the South Island, and it ruined some great outdoor sets that they had built, and they have to come up with something else to do in the time while they're repairing it. And at one point, I can't remember what broke, but we basically went out in the parking lot, just a regular parking lot with traffic going by, and they put up a big screen, and they made a little reservoir, and they filled it up with water, and we filmed the Midgewater Marsh scene. Like, they assembled in the parking lot in a few hours, the Midgewater Marsh scene. And when we go out there, it was freezing cold, and they have us walking through, the marshes with our feet, our Hobbit feet on. And this one, you don't remember?
No.
He will in a second. Okay, Billy is intrepid. Billy just keeps going. You can't discourage him. You can't get him down. He's patient. He'll just sit there waiting to be called. He just, he's tough. Whatever we're climbing up mountains, he just does it all. But this one particular night, told you, his feet were so cold because basically the foam feet turned into ice.
Oh my gosh.
It was like standing on barefoot on blocks of ice, and he's like, I might not be able to go on.
That's right. No, that was outside Moria. It wasn't the marshes. I
get my
remember
parking lots
really
mixed up.
good. No, I remember that night very well. That's it. Yeah, the first night I almost said I can't do this. That's right. Yeah.
But you did it anyway.
I did it.
Professional right there, professional.
I peed on my own feet to warm them up. And then I got Vigo to pee on them as well.
Also not on the special features.
It's supposed to be for a jellyfish bite, but whatever.
Oh.
Well, since you were in a fantasy world and we love fantasy here, we're going to play a little quick game here, roll for questions. I'm going to give you this die right here. And you just roll it, and then whatever you land on, that's the question I'm going to ask.
Just right here. Just like rotate it. 17.
That's a
My
good
lucky
roll.
number.
17. You, a sorcerer of much cunning, have developed a spell which can conjure unlimited snacks, possibly even candy. What snacks do you conjure?
Haribo.
Nice.
I like Haribo. I like the little eggs, the little fried eggs, Haribo. I pile them on top of each other till there's like 8 or 9. And I stick them in my mouth. And then I eat them up while I weep.
Let me think about which dessert I would like to have.
So comfortable.
I'm going to need a few minutes on this one.
I could just sleep
Twix
here.
popped into my head when you were asking the question.
Twix is good.
And now all of a sudden we've conjured it's a room full of Twix bars. Like, oh no, I hope the sun doesn't come out and melt them all. This is what I'm going to be worried about. I'm going to be riding one of those little New York City Metro bikes home, picturing a room full of melted Twix and the fact that I'm the lamest wizard there ever was.
Well, Halloween's coming up, so it's appropriate. You're good. You're good. Not gonna, how about you give it a roll, and we'll see what you come up with when you roll the die. Yeah.
Doesn't it feel like you should throw it into the audience?
Yes.
Oh, well, I don't know if we have to take it back. We might have to get the deposit back on it.
So whatever, when you catch it, don't move your hand. Like, catch it and keep your hand frozen,
So
and
we can
I'll
see.
decide which of the numbers your hand is on.
Oh, gosh.
Okay, you ready? Okay.
And there it goes.
Oh. 2.
I see, well, rotate it this way. 8.
8. All right, 8. The sheriff of a large town. Oh, God. Good job.
You can throw it.
8. The sheriff of a large town has offered you a bag of gold to protect the city. When you're fighting crime, would you banter with the criminals, or are you more the silent punching type? So would you talk them down, or would you just punch their lights out?
That was quite a confusing question. There was gold and there was a sheriff.
Yeah.
What was it?
There's a whole story to this.
Yeah.
So one of my favorite moments in Stranger Things that I got to do.
Woo!
There you go.
Bob is, brought by the kids in the middle of the night to this dead pumpkin patch and gets with a shovel with Joyce and goes down into this pit, this hole, and now all of a sudden he's inside the map that the little boy drew. Bob doesn't question it.
Yeah.
Bob just rolls with it, man.
And you're used to maps.
Yeah, Matt, yeah. Sean's used to it, Mikey's used to it, Bob's used to it. And we get over there, and the sheriff, apropos of your question, sir, is being, smothered by these living snake vines.
Yeah.
So we cut him out. We cut the vines, the snaky things or whatever, and he stands up, and as he's dusting himself off, and Joyce is very upset, he says, "Hey, Bob," and I say, "Hey, Jim." It's so quiet. I was so upset when we filmed it because I'm like, you guys, you didn't let us do it loud enough. No one's gonna get it. I thought that was really funny. So I met a sheriff in a small town, and if I saw any villains, I would kick their effing butts.
Yes. And we know
And
Raphael
F
would
means
punch,
friendly.
too.
I would kick their friendly butts.
Friendly butts. And we know Raphael would take a punch.
Come on, stop talking and start fighting. Let's go. Sheriff, where are the doubloons? Mikey.
I know we're pressed on time. I just have one last question for you, Billy. You have such a talented vocal singing voice, and you obviously sang in Lord of the Rings, and you also were asked to sing a song for The Hobbit as well. I was just wondering if maybe there's any way that I could convince you might sing just a little for us? Just a little?
No. I can sing. My daughters
You
hate
sing.
it. My daughters hate it when I sing because I have such a bad voice.
Do
and
it.
they beg me not to sing in public.
Can you do that song?
Yeah.
I
I can show you the world.
You're supposed to sing Edge of
Shining,
Night.
shimmering splendor, something over and under. Anyhow, but thanks. You're welcome.
That was lovely.
He saved you.
Wouldn't you go to Broadway to see him sing that? I would.
If anybody videoed that, if you could post it, my daughter's name is Bella Aston. Tag Bella Aston
And she'll
and
be
say
so
something
embarrassed.
complimentary about how the crowd was begging for more. 14-year-olds are all about being embarrassed. And I'm like, no.
You know the worst thing in Stranger Things? When Bob could have ran away from that monster and he just stopped.
Oh,
Why
snap.
didn't he just keep running?
It's okay. It's okay.
He's not wrong, though.
All right.
Bob stops running, period.
Yeah.
Turn the page. It doesn't go well. Joyce enters, sees Bob, stops cold. It's not going well. Demodogs crash through the door. It's just, at this point, I just put the script down. They were very sweet, though. The Duffer Brothers were very sweet. They were like, I couldn't sleep. I couldn't sleep last night. I hated killing Bob so much. It was ripping my guts out, having to kill Bob. I go, really? He goes, yeah.
Why do they like to kill off characters that names start with B? Is that a thing?
It's an interesting thing. Well, at the end of my daughter, Bella,
Spoiler.
who's the star of the panel now, Bella binge watched the second season. She's binge watched the third season. But after the end of the second season, she says, she takes her, literally binge watched it, takes the headsets off with the computer and looks up, groggy. And I said, well, what'd you think? She goes, it was really good. I go, but what did you think? She goes, you were really good, Dad. Yeah, but what did you think? She goes, what do you mean? I was like, of the death. She goes, and I go, but was it a good death? She says it was a good death. I said, well, what do you think about the fact that I died? She goes, Dad, it's Stranger Things. Somebody has to die.
And on that note, thank you guys so much for being
Thank
here.
you.
Yes, thank you.
Sean
Thank you
Aston,
so
Billy
much.
Boyd, thank you for all you've contributed with Lord of the Rings and
Thank you
beyond.
both. You're beautiful people.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
New York, thank you very much. God bless you.